All right, everybody. Sorry about the delay. There's some technical difficulties. So today we are starting our summer seeds. So I'm going to do some vegetables. I'm going to do some flowers. And at any time, you guys are more than welcome to speak. So ask anything you want, and I will monitor the chat as I can. Try and get it on my phone just right. There we go. Hey, our urban homestead. So I was saying I'm going to be starting vegetable seeds and some flower seeds today, and I'm going to be using a 72 cell tray and I think 115. I don't know. So, what's going on in your garden, urban homestead? These are golden bush scallop. Had no luck last year, but I'm gonna finish up the seeds. We got just a handful, so. Potting up hot peppers. That's a good sign. I just finished up that last tray last night. Stayed up most of the night doing it. It was kind of painful. What hot peppers are you growing? Hey, Jeff from Denmark. Ooh, you're getting 7 inches of snow? My condolences to you. That's sad. That is very sad. I'm sorry if the wind is loud. I can't do anything about that. It's 55 degrees today. So I wanted to do this in the sun, but I didn't want to be squinting the whole time to see everything. What are you growing in Denmark, Jeff? I don't miss snow, I can tell you that much. Not at all. Thai chili, habanero, jalapenos. Nothing too fancy. Hey, you know what? If you want to talk about fancy, I don't think there's anything wrong with not going fancy. I think sometimes going easy is the right way to go. It's just, it's more simple, you know what I mean? And you know what you like. Carolina Reapers. So I'm from Carolina, North Carolina. Have you ever had a Carolina Reaper? I don't think I could take it. I've seen those challenges of people eating like Carolina Reapers and then like tricking people into Carolina Reapers eating them. That should be illegal. That would be a terrible trick to play on somebody. I have not had a Sugar Rush peach. Is that a pepper or is that an actual peach? Because peaches are one of my favorite fruits, so you may have me on that one. Jeff likes the hot chilies. I hear you, my friend. Well, more power to you. You eat all those hot chilies you can, because that's not for me. I like heat, but I don't like crazy heat. I like nice, calm heat. You know, the hottest that I've grown habaneros before, and the problem I had with habaneros is I got so many peppers off the plants I couldn't use them. It was crazy. So I just stopped growing them. So a hot pepper that has hints of peach. So you put the word supposedly in there. I'm gonna tell you, I got a friend of the show, Sir Purple, sent us some of his seeds that he created. And it's a cross between a purple Apache and a Serrano. The pepper is about that big, roughly, about an inch or so, and it's purple, but it has a hint of apple. And when he told it to me, I was like, no, 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 no. It doesn't have a hint of apple. Well, when I ate it, it sure enough had a hint of apple. And it has a really nice slow burn. So we're on our 3rd year growing them now, maybe 2nd. Time kind of runs together. So we're gonna keep growing. We're trying to save more and more seeds. We have to keep isolating them so they don't get crossed anymore. But they're really good, but they actually have a hint of apple. So that's something, if I didn't have that, and he also sent me some mango peppers, some ahi mango peppers, and they had a hint of mango in the flavor as well. So if it has a hint of peach, I'm gonna remember that. That was the Sugar Rush Peach. So I'm gonna try that next year, unfortunately, unless I can find a plant somewhere, but that's not gonna happen. Because I would like to branch out on my peppers, get some more complex flavors and stuff. I think that would be really good. So now we're just doing regular old crooked neck squash. Nothing exciting. But like our Herbert Umstead said, sometimes you just gotta grow the basics, you know? It was delicious. He also sent me some like Dracula pepper or something, and I ate it, and it was ridiculous. I'm testing putting in 1 seed in each cell right now. It makes me nervous. I usually do 2 or 3, but for these squashes, because they're so fast, I think I can get away with it. And the seeds are fairly fresh. So we're gonna go with it. I also need to start, I think next time I start seeds, I'm gonna do my Desi squashes. So I've been saving those seeds. I'm on my 2nd year saving those seeds. I actually got a pack of it. Baker's Creek sent me a pack of their seeds before I decided I didn't like their seeds anymore. And of all the things I've grown a lot from them. That was the one thing that I really did enjoy the flavor of. So we've been saving those seeds, and I actually ran out, and I had a bad squash here. Just got like nothing but foliage, which I think was a fertilization issue. So I'm gonna try and do it again this year. I got 3 squashes last year, so I saved the seeds from them. So hopefully we can rebound and bring those back and get some more squashes. Welcome everybody. If you're new, I'm starting seeds for summer. Some vegetables, mostly squashes, and then a bunch of flowers coming up. If you're growing anything, let us know. Curious about what's going on in your gardens. And we were just talking about growing just basic vegetables, nothing crazy or fancy. And there's nothing wrong with that. So truth be told, I hate starting flower seeds. They're weird. They don't even look like seeds, you know? Some of them look like leaves, some of them look like whatever, I don't know. Not a fan. Now, Jeff, do you make hot sauces with your hot chilies? And this is just a dark green zucchini. So I would agree with you on doing 1 of each, but with the squash vine borer the way it is, I do more. And you have to remember, I also sell these, and I had a lot of people last year asking me for squash and zucchini, so that's why we're starting so many. We actually did pretty well so far this year. We've sold, I sold 700 onion seedlings and about 200 lettuce, maybe 100 bok choy plants, and you know, broccolis and stuff like that, most of those. So we're trying to start these up so we can get people growing, because that's my main goal, is to get people growing their own food. So I did a hot sauce last year, Jeff, that was pretty good, real basic. You know, I do a basic Tabasco, so I like that, but I made it hotter than I should have, so it's been kind of tough to choke down at times. My hat's off to you for eating Carolina Reaper peppers. Yeah, Urban Homestead, if I had to have a goal, I think what I would like to do is, you know, aside from the podcast and the YouTube channel, I think I'd like to grow vegetable seedlings and get people into gardening and help them with that. I think that would be what my calling is. Hopefully that calling will stay. But it seems it's very rewarding, and I get to help people when they come by and stuff like that. I wish, you know, the subscribers and were closer by so we could help you guys out too. Dark green zucchini is done. All right, so here we go. I've got three rows left, and I have cantaloupe, small sugar pumpkins that I need to sow. So that's 2 rows. I got 1 extra row. In that extra row, I'm gonna let you guys decide. Should I do a scallop squash, a yellow squash, or a zucchini in that extra row, or another pumpkin or another cantaloupe? You guys tell me. Jeff just finished sowing amaranth, salads, Susanna black eye, tooth, don't know that. Oh, it's nighttime where you are, that's right. Is Susanna black eye like a black-eyed Susan? I know it's kind of a dumb question, but I'm thinking it may be the same thing. Well, thank you, R. Urban Homestead. I'm glad you found some use out of us. Yeah, I just potted up my peppers. I finished them this week, and they've been started for 2 months now, Jeff. Okay, so what's a toothache plant? Somebody's got to fill me in on this toothache plant. My neighbor wanted me to grow, what was that plant that went around the internet last year to look like a pecker, a penis? She wanted me to grow one of those. I didn't really want to do that, but she thought it would be funny. And it probably would be, but I don't even know what to call it. My son would love it. He'd think it'd be hilarious. I'm imagining a toothache plant would actually literally give you a toothache if you consumed it. So this is the small sugar pumpkins. I really like these. These are cool. Oh, a buzz button. So you bite the flower and it numbs your whole mouth. That's interesting. You know, I make tinctures as well, and I've had, oh, my eye itches. I was gonna do a couple of videos on making tinctures, but I didn't know if there'd be a lot of interest. So my tincture making time is coming up, so I may do a little bit of that stuff, but I don't know. I don't go crazy with it. I just have a few things that I know I like to use, and I'll start what I know. I don't really get too crazy. I used to go down a rabbit hole, and I have a whole box of herbs in my closet left over from that. And I mean, some stuff I have no clue what it does. But I did salves and all that, and it was more of a pain than I thought the salves were worth. And they never really turned out quite right for me, but I do enjoy some of the tinctures that I use. I have not grown dandelion, but I've harvested dandelion. The last thing I need to do is grow it. I've got plenty of dandelion growing in my yard, but I had a house. Okay, here's a life lesson for you. I bought a house and there was probably 3 feet of snow on the ground, and then when the snow melted, there was no grass. So all we had was dandelions. And so I tried to kill them, vinegar all the time. I mean, it smelled like a pig picking in my yard for months. And I ended up deciding, like, I ended up learning about dandelions. This was like 10 years ago. So I would go out, hey Lorenzo, I would go out and harvest the dandelion leaves and eat them in salads and make tinctures with them and stuff like that. So I have used them for that. I know the big benefit behind them. I'm about to catch some flack, and I'm sure somebody's going to turn off when I say this, but it is what it is for gut health and your microbiome inside of your gut. And the more research I did, I found that language to be, I don't want to use the word woo-woo, but it was not very accurate. Well, let's just say that. So I kind of got away from using dandelion as much. Yeah, we have a bearded dragon too. They can be tough to feed. You can grow prickly pear cactus. That's something that they like to eat. And we grow mustard greens for them and turnip greens. So our bearded dragon eats all that stuff. And I enjoy the mustard greens as well. I just went in there today and he had a salad party. He threw the mustard greens all over his cage. Wooish, is that the word I should have used? It's kind of like the same idea of like eating yogurt will replace bacteria in your stomach, and it does, but the best way to replace bacteria in your stomach is to have a healthy, well-balanced diet, in my opinion. I am not a medical professional, nor do I want to be. Oh, see? Somebody hung up on that one. It's all good. All right, so everybody, I'm planting seeds, and I asked the question, but I got to ask again because I'm getting to it. I got one extra row. What would you plant an extra row of? Sugar pumpkins, scallop squash, yellow squash, zucchini, or cantaloupe? Put your answer in here because I got to do it soon. Please. I don't really care personally which one I grow. I'm kind of indifferent. You know, Jeff, I will say this. I think a lot of the stuff that people try and do, like I used to make a lot of kombucha and drink it too. Damn, that stuff was gross too when I grew it. Ooh, cantaloupe. All right, that's one for cantaloupe. Everyone gets offended too easily, sugar pumpkins. I knew you would say that, by the way. I knew you would. Yes, I do love fruit. Somebody knows that, knows me very well. So, yeah, I think that when people are looking for like ways to cheat the system and build certain bacteria in their body, they're actually lacking somewhere else. I mean, how about we just stop going to KFC? You know what I'm saying? I love some fried chicken, but sometimes let's just lay off of it and have a salad, you know? So I'm sorry, my phone is down here and it's really small, so like I have to look at the names. So Bernadette, I love fruit, or you know that I love fruit. So it's funny you say that. A couple years ago, I'd be like, how's she know I like fruit? But now I know. So you are right, I do love fruit. And if you've never grown your own cantaloupe, it's nothing like the store. Absolutely nothing. Hey, not quite homesteading. Not quite, but almost there, right? So let me ask you this, why are you not quite homesteading? You know I had to ask. Yeah, you know, I did the kombucha for the gut health business, but I also like the flavor, but I could never, it always turned vinegary on me. So I just kind of backed out of it. All right, cantaloupe. So I've got one cantaloupe, one zucchini, and one sugar pumpkin. There's more of y'all in here, so what do you want to see an extra row of? So Lorenzo, you're exactly right. I was just talking to somebody the other day about my garden, and they were asking me, no, I was asking them, I was like, you know, they had come by to get some seedlings and stuff, and I was like, do you want to grow some bok choy? I'm like, never had it, don't care about it. They said, I don't even know how to use it. And I said, well, if you grow it, you got 40 days to figure out how to cook it. And if you grow a square foot, you can put, let's say 2 to 3 in there roughly. If you put 3 of them in there, you got 3 meals, we'll say. You'll figure it out and you'll learn. And as we grow our gardens, this is something we talk about on the Backyard Gardens podcast a lot, is it's a gateway into learning about growing food and like experimenting and learning about new foods. I have grown to like so many more vegetables than ever before. I would still be a fruit farmer, but speaking of fruit, I gave up on my strawberry patch. Yeah, breaking news. Homesteading is a state of mind. You don't need a lot of land. I have very deep thoughts about the homesteading word. It's for another date though. I'm working on self-sufficiency, but not at the homesteading stage. Okay, see, this is the deal. I'm gonna crack open the egg a little bit, but I'm not gonna pour the yolk out completely. Herding animals is thought of like, if you're a homesteader, you gotta herd animals. But is that true? Do you have to herd animals? Do you have to raise them? I mean, I think that every gardener should have chickens because they're easy. They add a lot to your garden. They add a lot to your diet. But then if you go outside of that, you know, I kind of question, like, is it worth it to do it? And does that make you not a homesteader? Because I urge people to Google the definition of a homesteader and read it and see what it says, and then start to think about how people are classified and if they're following it to that definition. And it's all a term. That's all it is. It's a term. Gardener, homesteader, person, human, you know, whatever. It was just life. I'm gonna put 2 of these cantaloupe seeds in. They're a little, now I'm gonna put 3 in. They're a little old. Watch none of them grow, that'd be my luck. So not quite homesteading. I think you're homesteading. Now what if you don't eat meat and you just have a giant garden? Does that make you a homesteader? You know, I had an identity crisis when I was like 28. I was working for the government and I hated what I did. And I remember I came home one day and I told my wife, when I die, I want to be remembered as Ben was a gardener, a surfer, a father, a loving husband, you know, all this stuff. I didn't want to be remembered as Ben was a fisheries biologist in sentence. You know, it was kind of a thing for me, so. Now, I get that if you're not ready for chickens mentally, it's a daunting task at first, but once you get set up, it's really easy. The only reason why I don't talk a lot about chickens on my channel is because when we do the videos, people don't really watch them. So we didn't really want to do it, but my wife does most of the chicken stuff. I just do all the building, but it is daunting at first. But once you get it all set up and running, the chickens are on like autopilot. I think basically what we do is we feed them every day, we collect the eggs, we scoop the coop out maybe once a month, and then we throw hay in once a week. That's it. And replace water as needed. Social influence is such a big problem. I agree with you. It's funny. I mean, is YouTube social media? What do you guys think? I don't really know. I think that social media can cause real issues with that and cause people to not know what they're gonna do, what they want to do, or confuse you into identifying into, I hate the word identify, into you doing certain things in your life. You know what I mean? Like, you see other people, but I keep telling myself, like, when you look at people's social media, you get a curated experience of the best experiences they've had. You know, it's like that's why on my channel, I try to show you the good and the bad. And I think that's really important. Because the last thing I want is somebody who would be just starting out to think, oh, well, he's got the perfect garden, he never has any issues, I can do it too, because that is far from the truth. Sometimes I feel like I have more issues in my garden than anybody else. Cantaloupe. All right, Bernadette, I'm going to be safe and not plant that extra row right now, but if they do come back up, I'm gonna plant another row just for you the next time I start them. Yeah, you got to share the same on all sides. And you know, if you have a channel or social media and you do that, I think it's to your detriment. Honestly, I think it's, you know, I think people sometimes don't really want to see the bad, but whatever. It is what it is, dude. Life ain't perfect. I knew a guy that worked at a Home Depot, and you know as well as I do that we all live in the home improvement stores. And every time you'd see him be like, how you doing today, sir? He's like, never had a bad day. It's like, damn, I hear you, man. So I try to live like that. I lost all my cauliflower crop because of this wonky weather, and I put it on IG to share. Good for you. I didn't get any cauliflower this year either. I may not have put it on IG, but I put it on YouTube. It's actually why I'm not overly active on Instagram anymore. I don't know. It's just not my place, you know? Pinterest perfect. I like that. My house isn't Pinterest perfect, I can tell you that. Good night. I was gonna do this inside because it's cold today, and I was like, hold up, I gotta clean up the kitchen. Never mind. That's some real life stuff right there. All right, so that's done. Now it's time for flowers. And we're just doing basic flowers. We're not doing anything crazy. Now I'm gonna top it with some perlite. And I'm gonna water the bejesus out of it. And so I'm actually gonna do something a little different with my flower seeds. I'm gonna put them inside because we're experiencing cold right now. Suppose it might frost tonight. So I'm glad I didn't start my tomatoes like I wanted to. And I think what I'm gonna do is once they start, like right before they come up, I'm gonna put them out in the greenhouse and see, because generally I think some flowers, they'll be pushing early. So I think that's what I'm gonna do with the flowers and save some space on my shelf, because I don't know if you guys know or remember, I had stated that my goal was by the time I up pop my tomatoes to have 2 shelves empty. Well, just as I've imagined, that's not gonna happen. So, you know, I'm not gonna grow more calendula this year because it gets hot here and it's kind of a pain to keep up with watering it. So I may end up doing some more. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet. I haven't decided. I still have a little bit of time. I never really got any calendula to come to fruition, really. They just kind of struggled because we have, actually it's my fault, where I put them, it gets all day. Here's the problem with flowers. It gets all day afternoon sun and it just cooked it. I mean, all of the plants just like shriveled up on it. So I don't know, I'm not gonna focus on them very heavy right now. But I probably will start another tray of flowers, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do calendula. Now, I don't know. I believe they're perennial, aren't they? So I'll have to see if anything I have comes back up. I had to rework my watering system a little bit. And I'll probably do a video soon about some things that like I've done over the winter as for starting seeds and stuff that I really enjoy. And perlite on top of your seeds, big thumbs up for that. Adding unique chat, bump the metrics. Okay, I don't know what that means. Bump the metrics. Whatever it takes. I'm just here to start seeds and connect with my peoples. So this tray right here is, I think it's like 117 cells or something like that. It's probably an even number, so I'm clearly not right on that, but this is what I'm gonna do. And so these worked really good for my onions. So I was able to pull like 4 or 5 onions out of each cell. I didn't do anything I didn't do anything but onions in them until I sold out, but after the way it performed, I think it's gonna do really good for flowers, because I can just pluck the whole flower out. Well, if they come back in Michigan, they'll come back here, because I'm in North Carolina, zone 8A. So if you guys are new to the chat and you're growing something, let us know what's going on in your gardens. Let us know what seeds you're starting. I know some people are getting snow, and my heart bleeds for you. I am truly sorry. Okay, Lorenzo, when did you start your seeds and where did you start them? Not Quite Homesteading wants to know, how did I transition into selling, and is it worth going to markets if you go? Okay, we can talk about that. I got no problem talking about that. So 2 years ago we had COVID, and all of our favorite companies decided to rip us off. And when I started seeing one lettuce plant for $5 and a tomato plant for $8, and then I'd go home and I'd open my seed pack and look at it, I'd say, you know, shit, I got, 300 lettuce seeds in here. And I was like, if people are gonna go buy it at the store, I can grow it a hell of a lot cheaper, and I can give people a deal and help them. Because I mean, a lot of people don't start seeds. They just don't. And that's okay. They like to buy transplants, stick them in the ground and walk away. But why should you have a 4x8 bed if you have, like, your average gardener's got a small bed and they spend $150 on plants? That's crazy. When we can get, for that same money, a small person like you or I can produce and give somebody 4 seasons of gardens in that bed for $125. There's just no sense. So I started growing. I already grew my seedlings, so it was just, hey, you know what, let's step up the production a little bit. And I just started growing them, and I put them on Marketplace, which, I mean, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, hate Facebook with everything in my soul, but it is useful for that. And it's funny I say that because we started a group, the Backyard Gardens Community Garden, on there. And I go on there and I try my best, but it is a true struggle for me to keep up with it. Got mustard greens, onions, carrots, spinach, and just harvested the radishes. Good deal. 7 varieties of tomatoes, 3 varieties of peppers, cantaloupe, pole beans, garden peas, lettuce, herbs, flowers for tea. It's been so freaking hot till all my plants are drying out and bolting. Yeah. Indoors, peppers, tomatoes, zinnias, and marigolds. I started my seeds early January, used grow lights. I tried using the seeds I bought last year. I bought new seeds in mid-February. Okay, that's about the onions. So Lorenzo, I normally don't tell people like you should do it this way. I try not to. I probably do, and I shouldn't. But if you do like I am, where you just put a little dimple in top and then you cover it with the perlite, you're gonna get germination. I don't know where you live. I started mine in December, and they came up under grow lights just fine. And the thing about onions is you can move them out early too. So they can take a frost, they can take a cold. So get them up to a certain height. I do about 3 trimmings on them because you have to trim them down to keep them compact, and then I put them outside and just let them grow in the container. And as people wanted them, they came by, I would just pluck them out and give them to them. So that is a good way to do it. All my seeds that I'm using are a year old, basically. Some of them are brand new, but usually I'm going year old. So a lot of them I've done 3-4 years, and all I do is each year I will put an extra seed in for each year that I've had that package of seeds. Damn, Not Quite Homesteading's got a farm going on over there. I like it. Yeah, if you're in Tennessee, I know your climate out there. I would start them January 1, do them this way, and then by mid-February, you should be able to start putting them in the ground roughly, depending on your weather. I mean, don't dig in the snow or anything. And Not Quite Homesteading, to finish your question about worth it going to the markets, yes, it's worth it. If you can find a market that's young. If you find an old established market with somebody there, you're gonna fight an uphill battle. Find somebody that's just started a farmer's market, and they want somebody to come in and then get yourself established in that market. That's the way to do it. If you go somewhere where there's already somebody selling, that's not going to be it, because what you're going to turn into is you're going to be the Lowe's, you're going to be the Home Depot, you're going to be the garden center for the people that come there year after year, as long as you produce a good product, and they're going to depend on you. And that's what you want. That's how you kind of make it. Look, I'm sitting here talking, I ain't even putting the dimples in my trays. That's messed up. All right, so these Mammoth sunflowers, see, still using Baker Creek leftover seeds. These are old, so I don't know if they're gonna do. I'm gonna put 3 seeds in each cell. I don't know, I might only be able to fit, yeah, I can fit 3 in. And truth be told, I have a setup with a farmer's market, and I sold out before their first market this year, so I couldn't go. That's why I'm starting more. And that's just in the spring, when people usually, most people don't realize that you can plant early in the season where we are. Well, I will tell you this, if you go somewhere and you have some extras, you better have a lot of extras, because I went one day last year and I didn't expect much, and I sold 200 seedlings that day in one day in 2 hours. So it's a lot different than if you're on Facebook or something like that, where you can kind of like say, hey, you know, I got a couple extras or whatever. Tanya's Townhouse Garden. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sunflowers. There's squirrel magnets in my yard, but that's okay. I think we have roughly, I would say this year we got about 2 weeks left of last frost, but it could be 3 weeks. But I'm gonna take a chance. Does anybody here plant before their last frost date? I know some people have mentioned, but I know some people may not either. You know what I need? I need a rocking chair. Should be killing my back. Baker's Creek have never germinated for me any seeds. Yeah. I have my own thoughts about Baker's Creek, and our Urban Homestead knows, I'm sure, what they are. Hey, Not Quite Homesteading, what state are you in? That's how bad my handwriting is. It's terrible. Maybe I should have been a doctor. Coastal South Carolina. Now, you know, I'm from North Carolina. We got an issue here. There's an issue. But I still love you. I'm just joking about having an issue. Now I'm gonna do Crimson Queen sunflowers. They're nice and small. Let's see, how old are these seeds? I don't know. See, now Bernadette's just flexing. I like it. I like it. Good for you. 75 to 80 degrees. Because people from North Carolina don't like South Carolina. It's just like a thing. I don't have a problem with it personally, but that's like always been the thing growing up. I lived in South Carolina for a while though. It's nice. It's hot down there though. It's hotter than here. The only place I don't like in South Carolina is Charleston. Sorry if you're from there. It's just not a big fan of it. I lived in New York too, upstate. Which, you know, upstate can be 2 feet past New York City, but yeah, I lived upstate. Is that a thing in playing in the dirt? That's funny. It's, you know, it's not the people, it's just the state. I don't know. It's just like, it's like ingrained in us from the beginning. I don't know. Actually, I take that back. I don't like Myrtle Beach either. I live kind of close to Myrtle Beach. And Michigan doesn't like Ohio. Okay. I lived in Queens for a while. Flushing. That's funny. So I guess every state has a state they don't like. That's cool. So Rhino Rex, yeah, you're not, well, you're not far, you're like 4-hour drive from me. Yeah, that's what I do. My garden's full of broccoli right now. I'm actually, the next day that it's not windy coming up, I think I'm gonna record a garden tour, and I'll talk about that because that's something that has kind of bled into some of my videos about how I stress about the seasons and the plants that are growing in my garden at the time. And so I do want to show that because it is something that I think a lot of people don't understand, especially in your areas. Like, you can push it back because your growing season is a lot longer. Now, it depends. If you're close to the Outer Banks, it could be a little bit different. That's my beef. All right, Not Quite Homesteading, you are very close to me, so I know exactly how you can grow. That's interesting. You're probably an hour away from me. I'm actually gonna be down there just north of you in a couple weeks. My mom's got some health issues, so I'm gonna plant her garden, and if she pays for it, I'm going to put an in-ground watering system in her garden as well to help her out. But just in that hour, there's a big difference in your and mine's climate. So Not Quite Homesteading, have you ever been to a North Carolina beach? There goes the wind. Damn, you're from Brooklyn too? Damn. You can't be from Brooklyn and live in South Carolina. We gotta come to how about this? How about a truce? So if you'd never saved seeds before, this is marigolds are like a great way to start. I love growing marigolds. What up, Batavia? Welcome to the party. I'm planting your favorite marigolds. I'm not gonna get in on the Yankee conversation. Oh crap, I just spilt marigold seeds all over everything. This is gonna get interesting this year, everybody. All right, so I'm planting marigolds. So here comes the conversation. And now that Batavia's here, I really want to have it. Anybody companion plant here? Or worry about companion planting at all? Well, Batavia's just gonna go away now. She ain't even trying to hear that talk. For eating your marigolds, I mean, when I grow mine, I just spray them with neem oil. You know, when I do the rest of my stuff, I just spray them with neem oil. And that seems to work pretty well. I add flowers for good bugs. Yeah. I add flowers for good bugs too. We've talked about this stuff extensively. I personally think there's some things that do good and some things that don't. And I mean, well, you just took it out of my mouth, but I'm not sold on it completely either. And an issue that I have with it is it way overcomplicates this stuff. Way overcomplicates it. Now, I believe in crop rotation, but as far as like companion planting and stuff, I think it takes something that should be enjoyable and can make it very stressful. Man, I hate planting flower seeds. I mean, come on, man. How's that a seed? So I've planted marigolds in my beds, especially my tomato beds, for many, many years. And then I didn't do it, and you know what? There was no difference. You can take that or leave it any way anybody wants, but I couldn't tell any difference. I know there's a lot of people that are like really hardcore about it, but for me, I don't know. And it's funny too, because if you look it up, you can get multiple things on it. You know, multiple thought processes and stuff like that. I want some giant marigolds. That's what I want. I want giant marigolds. Like 3-4 footers or something. Maybe I just like them because they're easy. I'm okay with that. Well, Batavia, you know you and I have that connection where I can read your mind. But yeah, nasturtiums, there was somebody in the Backyard Gardens group that was talking about that recently, and I have never had good luck with nasturtiums, and I've heard of soaking them and nicking them and all that stuff. I got a pack of nasturtiums in there. I ought to plant them, but I do know that they're a good trap crop flower. But then it's like, what's the point in growing the flower if it's just going to be ate up the whole time? You know what I mean? Yeah, we work on keeping our backyard pretty. It is very wooded, and we work on keeping it balanced as much as possible. You know, we try not, as we clear stuff out, we try to leave certain things, stuff like that. But believe it or not, as far as like pollinators and stuff goes, it is kind of an issue still, because just because we're wooded, there's not a lot of like pollinating flowers and stuff like that around here. And we do live in a neighborhood, and in the neighborhood everybody ripped up all their flowers and they just have bushes, so there's nothing to really benefit. So there's like a few people around here that really plant flowers and stuff like that, and it does make a difference. But I would argue that people that live in neighborhoods that have like big flower gardens and stuff actually have more of the pollinator type situation going on. Yeah, they don't eat your veggies, but then, you know what? I've never had anything eat my veggies as bad as I've seen nasturtiums look. Marigold Mission Giant Yellow. They get like 3 feet, y'all. Got the seeds at like HD. I wonder if they got them in orange. I like the orange ones. Orange flowers are my jam. My favorite color combination is orange and blue, so. Cracker Jack Marigold's got 3 feet. Okay, okay. I totally just put like 20 marigolds in one little ass seed cell. So the question is, and somebody might be able to tell us, is what bugs do the nasturtiums keep away? Because I believe without having a flower that looks ate the hell up, that you could treat for that bug and get it away. Orange marigolds done. Damn, everybody's always talking about Menards. I'd like to go to one. You know how you get rid of cabbage moths? BT. BT is how you get rid of cabbage moths. Yeah, these marigolds I just planted, they're like orange with a black line in them. I think they're French marigolds maybe, or maybe that's not even true. I don't know. Maybe they're the, I don't know. Yeah, I would just get you some neem oil. You should be alright with that. That should help. Is Menards only a Midwest store? Is that correct? So not quite homesteading. You should step on a hornworm one day and see what happens. It's super terrible. Damn, Batavia, you raising cabbage moss? I like it. I like it. She loves cabbage moss so much that she raises them inside of her house. Dude, I'm telling you, step on it. It's rewarding. Plus, there's one less you're gonna have in your garden. Oh, well, you late to the show. You late to the show, my friend. No, I'm gonna take these inside for the next couple nights because we're supposed to get a frost, and then I'm gonna put them in the greenhouse. Thinking that because it was 92 degrees in the greenhouse the other day, so with that heat I think they should do fine in there. Maybe a little bit hairy, but I know flowers are a little bit more resilient than vegetables when it comes to germinating and stuff like that. So I saved these zinnia seeds and I don't even know if they're seeds. Can I get an amen? We're gonna do a couple episodes probably after spring and put on there, and we've got a couple more of the older ones that we've got to put on there too. Damn, I just got shamed right in public. That's messed up. That's truly messed up. Nah, Bernadette, sorry. Keep your hornworms and give them to the bearded dragon. We do that for ours all the time. It's great and it's awesome. Just don't treat your garden with anything toxic. Go organic. If you do like a neem oil or something, wait a while to feed him to the dragon. You'll be fine. We do it all the time. Do you really think that the ones they have in the store are any better? I guarantee you your garden is better than that. A little bit of perlite. So we got zinnias, crimson sunflowers, mammoth sunflowers, and marigolds. And I need to hunt down some more seeds at some point to get it going. And I got perlite in my drink and I'm fixing to drink it, so there's that. Ooh, my back. Yeah, the chickens love hornworms too, but we got 9 chickens and I think we're gonna get a couple more this year. They fight over them, so we have to be careful. I don't want them to fight over the hornworms. It's kind of a terrible thing that they have to deal with. So here we go, everybody. Question: do you guys like me doing these lives? I did one last week and I did this one this week. Do you want me to keep doing these as, you know, I have things like this to do where I can sit down and concentrate? Now I'm gonna have to go look up the Menard song. Yours fight over frogs? What kind of chickens do you have, Chelsea? Batavia says lives, check. Yeah, Bernadette, give them your hornworms. It's the best thing you can do. You know, it's funny. You say something about my beard. Somebody left a comment the other day. They said, nobody gives a shit about you or your beard. Just get off this channel. It's like, okay. Yeah, that's why I did it. No, Not Quite Homesteading. I wanted to come out and just kind of talking, you know, because sometimes I feel like I'm just like one way talking. And it's good to get like a little bit back and forth with people and stuff like that. So I tried to put up something that said like, hey, I'm going to be live at this time, and I don't know if it actually went live at that place, but until I figure that out, I'll keep putting those out saying like I'm gonna go live. But just know that I'm gonna go live. It just may not be on that post on YouTube or whatever. Hey, Not Quite Homesteading, you should message me on Instagram too, just say, if you don't mind. It might take me a while to get to it because I don't go there a lot, but I'll get to it. A buff Orrington, a few bantams, Isa Browns, Easter eggers, silver lace Wyandotte. Okay, so it's funny, you have the Isa Browns. We got an Isa Brown, and it doesn't, you know, it just squeaks. That's all it does. It's ridiculous. And I'm not a fan of bantams. Their feet freak me out. I'm just gonna say that out loud. Just built my greenhouse this weekend, so excited. I was hoping to have it finished before my tomatoes germinated so I didn't have to transition them. Well, I was 2 days late. What should I do? Sierra, I would keep growing them where they are. You know, if they've germinated, just keep taking care of them if they're under lights. And you're gonna have to harden them off to get them out there anyways, so I would just get them going, you know, as far as you can. And just pot up, you know. I don't know where you are or what your weather's like, but it's you got to be careful. You got to be real careful this time of year. And I put a video out about that, and you know, about the tomatoes and stuff like that. And sure enough, a week later, 2 weeks later, we're in the 50s right now, and it's going to be below freezing tonight and tomorrow night. So it would be dead. Yeah, well, I'm glad yours squeaks too. I thought mine was just kind of out there. Now, you know there ain't nobody out here planting tomatoes yet. There might be a couple people in here, but you know everybody else has got snow on the ground and cold. Now, Batavia might be out there starting tomatoes. I don't know. "7 inches of snow on Friday." Man, that makes me sad for you. I'm sure when somebody comes back and looks at this in the future, they're going to be like, wow, this sucks. That guy's just sitting there looking at his phone. Oh, nice. I got zinnia seeds and perlite and dirt in my water. Pour some out for my homies. Yeah, just if you can keep your greenhouse above 50 at night at all times, let them get a set of true leaves on there and start hardening them out and hardening them off in the greenhouse, and you should be all right. It is mineral water, yeah. It is mineral water. I mean, look at that. That's terrible. Not quite homesteading. I got a video coming out tomorrow or Saturday that'll help you with that. Zone 3. I hear you, man. 2 feet in the yard and expecting another foot. When's your last frost date, man? Or ma'am? Sorry if I don't use the right pronoun. If you master transplanting, you get a whole new ball game when it comes to gardening. I'm gonna go on a limb and say you can produce twice as much food if you start transplanting, because your timing works out better because you're only worried about when the plant's going in the ground instead of when it's germinating. So a lot of times what happens, because I did the same thing for a while, what happens is you put it in and you're focusing on the entire germination time, but if you can cut 6 weeks of that grow time out inside of your house, and then when you get them in, it works out well. So that's something to really look at trying to master. It's just all about watering them and getting them used to the sunlight if you grow them inside. And then once you do that, it's just like everything else. Well, my friend, my hat is off to you. If your last frost date's May 31st, that's intense. That's dedication. I would imagine you have a pretty short growing season, but I bet you can have an awesome spring garden with like greens and stuff. I bet you can grow those throughout most of the year, I would imagine. Damn, Andrew. 9B and had snow. It is going to be an interesting year. I mean, we're having a cool spring. It started off warm. Maybe it'll keep going, but we'll see what happens. You know, that's a good question, not quite homesteading. I know you're asking We the Fringe, but in general, I think people focus on their zones a lot, but what we should focus on is like what the length of our growing season is. I think that's a more accurate term. I think from now on I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Ben, 235. I think that's the way it should be. Yeah, we have a friend of the show that's in way north Canada, and he does he had a pretty cool greenhouse setup where it's like double layered, and then he had a blower in it, and he grew a lot in his house too. Yeah, not quite homesteading. For me, it's I can grow year round here, but the winter is noticeably slower where I don't even have to walk out. If I wasn't doing YouTube videos, I probably wouldn't walk out into my garden and really do anything for weeks at a time in the winter while things are growing. Damn it, Leonard. Yeah, I don't even know what my weather's supposed to be now. I was just waiting for this time to come. When I was doing, I filmed a video yesterday when I was out in the garden, everything was kind of wilting. And I was, whoops, sorry about that. And everything was wilting, so I went and turned on the water and stuff, and it was 83 degrees. And I started thinking, I was like, man, I really hope it gets cool again, because, you know, we got a lot of broccoli and stuff, and we can have a hard time growing it. So with this cool weather, it'll help it, because that stuff, it really stresses when it gets warm like that. And you can just tell the plant doesn't like it, and when it gets cool again, it cools right off, and it's not bad. I'm in zone 8A, North Carolina. The weather's so beautiful. Yep, got it. Same. Yes, Batavia. Yeah, I think my growing season total is 235. If you factor in like spring stuff, and I mean we grow 365, but there's definitely like a month or two where things just kind of sit in the garden and wait. And like right now, I'd say about early to mid-February, things really start picking up, and that may actually be because of the sunlight that I get in my yard. I mean, right now, if you look, that's the most direct sunlight that I get. So, and then that garden over there, you can see is totally in the shade in the afternoon, which works out for me right now because this is the hottest sun of the day, so those broccolis and stuff are actually staying cooler, which are noticeably more difficult for me to grow because of the bolting and stuff like that. Okay, so if yours is 231, knowing where you are, I may be a little under you. So maybe 225 or something like that. I don't know, splitting hairs at this point.